Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be covering how videos in the math playlists and potentially other playlists will be structured. And so before we get into that, if you are enjoying the content and if you guys want more from me, hit that red subscribe button down below and also turn on notifications so you guys get notified when I upload a new video. So let's hop right into it. So when it comes to mathematics, typically schools like to break it like building blocks or a staircase, where they teach you they teach you basic arithmetic when you're a little kid, and they move you up to calculus, and they slowly build you up to calculus, and then when you move on to college level math and graduate level math, you go beyond. Okay. So, all right, so let's move on. So I'm gonna grab a different color for this. All right, so when it comes to this channel, you want to think of a staircase, okay? All right, so just keep up with the schools, and so you guys can pass your classes. Even though mathematics is not that way, it's not one course, one topic is needed for another. Mathematics all interlocks together. From algebra, so algebra goes with calculus, geometry goes with calculus, and calculus goes with number theory and other stuff. And other vast topics of math. And but for simplicity and to help you guys, and for teaching's sake, schools break it up into a staircase, and that's what I'm going to do on the channel. So, so I'll be assuming you guys know your arithmetic. And the first step you guys have is Algebra 1. Algebra 1, pre-algebra, pretty much the same concepts, just a bit more difficulty. But pretty much, algebra starts to get you guys into the manipulation, the idea of manipulating expressions and variables and solving equations through different methods. It also gets you introduced to functions and other techniques you guys need for STEM classes and even other fields. Then we move up to geometry. So geometry, is the first. So in my opinion, is the purest form. Is one of the purest form of math, because that's when you start to do things with. So where algebra, you have a direct way, a direct set of steps to get to a solution. Geometry, you have to start doing things with proof, and you can't do things without proving another thing. But even still, I'll have algebra applications in there as well, which will be needed. All right. So then you move on. So then you move up. Algebra 2. So we take so we don't take as many concepts for geometry, mainly to step up from Algebra 1. So typically, people would say Algebra 1 and geometry are equal steps, but when it comes to my channel, I'll have more algebra applications and algebra use inside of it, so it's going to be a step up. And then Algebra 2 uses some concepts from geometry, but mainly use Algebra 1 concepts and prior knowledge that you have to strengthen your problem-solving skills. It'll introduce you to functions and go more in depth, but not as in depth as you will in PreCalc and beyond. So then moving up, we have pre-calculus. So PreCalc focuses mainly on functions and it's also an algebra and geometry application. So pretty much everything from here. So from this point on, your algebra your algebra 1 through algebra 2 in geometry have to be really good. And so this gets you ready for calculus by teaching you functions and so algebraic functions in depth, and also going into introducing you to a more advanced trig and going in depth and teaching you how to manipulate them for calculus. And then there's calculus 1 and 2. Oops, sorry. Calc 1 and 2. Let me move that over a little bit for you guys. So calculus 1 and 2 calculus 1 and 2, even though it's one vast topic. So calculus is one vast topic, but it has two trains of thought. It has two different trains of thought and two different types of problems. So that's why schools typically break it up into Calc 1 and Calc 2. Plus it also gives you time to be ready to learn it all in between 2 semesters instead of cramming it all into one. Not only that, it's like Calc 1 focuses on integral, not integrals, derivatives, and Calc 2 focuses on integrals and their applications. And so in this case, where I would make one playlist, I'll make two different types. Okay, and so then the peak of the staircase, where you need your algebra 1 through calculus. So algebra through calculus. Clear this up a little bit. So after calculus 1 and 2, we move into our vector calculus. Okay. So VectorCalc pretty much is it's three-dimensional. So it takes all the concepts you learned in calculus 1 and 2, and also takes a lot of concepts that you learned in prior classes, and you not only do you prove them, but you also take them and use them in three-dimensional space. And then we move on to differential equations. And that's in depth. Okay? So in calculus 1 and 2, you learned about differential equations. But in VectorCalc, sorry, not VectorCalc, but in differential equations, which is almost the last math class you need. You go way more in depth. And then lastly, it's like, so the last one for STEM courses, of course, definitely not the last math course, especially for major in math, is linear algebra. So we learn a little bit of things in pre-calculus and through our journey through algebra 1 and differential equations. So once we get to linear algebra, it takes everything and we apply it to solve their types of problems, such as advanced matrices and stuff. But typically that's the whole series that you have to take to get usually a bachelor's in a STEM. And people have been asking me, will I do stats? Well, stats, yes. So stats will be added later, though. And the reason why, sorry about that. My stand just fell. Okay. So the reason why stats would be added on later is, one, because it's not required for most math majors, especially if you're or STEM majors. It's typically not. It's not required past the algebra based. All right. then there's also calculus stats. Okay? And typically, yeah, so these concepts, so these concepts are required for some majors, but there's a vast amount of majors for STEM courses or STEM majors that do not require it past algebra based. Not only that, it's like I would need better graphics and tools to help me explain those concepts so you guys can see them. So one last thing before we move on. So before we start getting into the actual meat of the stuff, when it comes to the channel, so just switching back colors, back to red. So when it comes to the channel, I plan to have my playlists. So the playlist will have a playlist for each math subject. I also plan to do the same thing with physics and chemistry. Be a little different with other stuff, but if it's math based, be pretty much the same formula. So it'd be the playlist title. So like a big topic, which I'll divide it up. And then we'll have a concept video. And there'll be not only a concept video, but also a problem solving video. Now, so in the concept videos, they'll be a bit shorter than the problem solving videos, except for in Algebra 1, just because most of Algebra 1 topics, just because it's the concepts are really easy to grasp. But in the concept videos, we'll just be talking mainly about the abstract thought of it, how we derive it, where it comes from, and also what they mean. And in the problem solving videos, we will and also the application videos. And the application videos, the problem solving and application videos, we will we'll show you how to use the different techniques and other concept that can be applied to the concept, and how we apply it in real world situations and word problems. Also in the concept videos, I'll have basic problems just to show you guys how the rule works a little bit, but the main techniques will be shown in the problem solving bits. So cannot wait to start breaking this stuff down with you guys, and I'll see you guys next video.